Hi, it's Tessa with hipover50.com. Hi. I'm coming to you from an Airbnb in the deepest, darkest English countryside on this gloomy November afternoon, so I apologize if it's a little dark in here. Today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 things that I wish I'd known before I moved over here. What are 5 things that you can do before you leave the US or any other country for that matter and be better prepared? Well, here they are. Number 1, you have 12 months after you set up residence in the UK to move your goods from wherever you used to live. And after that period, they will start charging you tax or VAT on your own stuff. So you want to get anything that you're planning on moving or shipping over here under that 12-month wire, because if you don't, it's going to cost you. It doesn't have to be a huge amount. It all depends on what you're shipping, but hey, it's kind of sucks to have to pay tax on your own things. So keep that in mind. You have 12 months to move your goods over here, or you will have to pay tax or VAT on those goods in addition to any other shipping charges. The second thing I wish I'd known is, well, I've talked about this before, is that you have a 12-month grace period also to drive a new US driving license once you come to the UK. So you can be happy as Larry driving around, but then after that 12 months is up, you need to get a UK driving license. And the UK driving license can take several months. It's not going in and taking a quick test like it is in most US states. You've got to take a theory test, you've got to practice, you've got to book a driving test, and maybe even line up a driving instructor to help you pass the test, as I did. And if you're like me and it took you multiple tries to pass the test, then now you're looking at like almost a year. So I'm not sure where the backlog is now from the pandemic on getting these driving licenses put through, but I would start the process at least several months before that 12-month period that you have is up, just to be on the safe side. The third thing that I wish I had known was go into your banks and financial institutions in the US and get everything set up before you leave the country. Because of laws, most US bank and financial institutions don't want to talk to you if you're out of the country. I have had my own financial institution say, call us when you get back in the US. So if you want anything set up, like for example, raising your daily cash withdrawal limit, if you get a little charge every time you pull out cash, then you may want to, do it fewer times. So you have to go into a branch in the US to request that. Make sure you have your residential address all set up with those banks and financial institutions. If you have other mail coming in or any kind of mail at all, it helps to have a US residential address. Even though you get most mail by email, they will want to mail you things. If you change anything, they need to have a confirmation mailing address. And that goes for Social Security, all kinds of things, taxes, IRS, you name it. So try to set up and make sure you have a good US residential address, whether or not you have a home in the US. And keep in mind what state that address is in for tax purposes. The third thing that I wish I had known before I moved over here was take care of any phone details. So I had a US phone number when I first came over here and a US phone plan, but then I had to change that. And it's much easier to change plans to port numbers, to change numbers to other US numbers in the US. There's a lot of things you can't do out of the country. So if you're wanting to forward a US number to, let's say, I don't know, a Google Voice number or whatever, do it while you're in, before you leave the US. And that goes for, downloading any apps that kind of look at what country you're in. Download those financial apps, any kind of apps that you think you will need to manage your US business while abroad, while you're in the US. The fourth thing I wish I had known was get all of the goodies that you really count on in the US and take them with you. So I've done in another video, I said, you just can't get some of the things in the UK that you can in the US. And one of those things is health supplements. For example, I don't know. I mean, in the US, we have multiple chains like Sprouts, Vitamin Cottage, Whole Foods, where you have like hundreds, if not thousands, of options for supplements. Here, very, very limited. And if you're somebody who takes melatonin occasionally, which I'm not endorsing, but if you do take it occasionally for jet lag or whatever, you cannot buy it in the UK. It's forbidden. Now you can buy it in France, but we're not talking about France. We're talking about the UK. So if something like that is something you want to bring with you, then make sure you bring enough to last you for as long as you'll need it. There's other things that are over the counter here, which are by prescription only in the US, like Zovirax, which is for cold sores, and Viagra. You can get that over the counter, but you can't get things like melatonin. So if there's something specific that you want, those things are also going to be a lot cheaper for you when you buy them with US dollars. So anything that you can use over here easily, I would say buy it in the US while you're there because your US dollars will just go a lot further. That's the 5 things. So the number one thing is make sure you get your stuff shipped over here before the 12 months after you start residency is over. Make sure you start getting your UK driving license before your US driving license is no longer valid after being here for 12 months. Number 3 is be sure to go into your financial or banking institutions and set up any banking or financial details that you need before you leave the country. Number 4 is set up any phone or app things that you need while you're over here, forwarding, etc., while you're in the US. And number 5 is bring those things over that you can't live without, whether it's supplements, whether it's a particular kind of genes, whether anything that you think you can't live without or something that you require, like a prescription, make sure you bring that with you. So I hope that was helpful. Those are 5 of the things that I wish I'd kind of known or that I would like you to know if you're thinking of coming over here for a long stay. And I hope that was helpful. Bye now. Talk to you soon.